What's up, y'all? It's Lauren back with another episode of the Chicks and Dip podcast. I'm so happy y'all are here. I have an awesome interview show today with y'all. I am speaking with Andy and John from the band Street Clothes. They're based here in Savannah, and they're fabulous. I didn't fully know what to expect because these are actually two people that I don't know very well. Y'all know sometimes my friends come on the show and I know exactly how it's going to go, and then sometimes it's people that I've only met once or twice, and they came on, and it was so fun. I knew it was going to be fun, but I didn't expect to laugh so hard. Like, we talked a lot about music. We talked a lot about my stupid taxi license, and we talked a lot about just silly stuff. It was really, really fun. I am very excited for y'all to listen to that. But y'all know the drill. Before we get into it, I want to talk to y'all a little bit about some things I've been thinking about over my chips and dip. I didn't really plan any intro stories, but I'm sitting here and Raquel is in the room with me. My sister Rachel is back in town. Maybe before she leaves, I'll make her record an episode. We'll see how the day goes. But I wanted to talk to you about this awesome dinner that we went to last night. We went to dinner at this place in Savannah called Dottie's, and they're like rolling out a new dinner program. And it was like, it's set up where there's like a U-shaped bar, and there's only like 10 seats. And it's like the chef comes out and talks to you about every single course like that we're eating, and they have it paired with wine. And I've done like wine pairing dinners before, but this was so neat because it was so small. Honestly, whenever we got there, Rachel, tell me what you think. I was like, is this about to be like a hibachi? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the way it was set up, we were all like it's like a U-shaped bar, and it would have been the perfect setup if they had come out and started like clanging stuff around and like shooting sake in our mouths. But it was much classier, and it was very, very fun. But I bring this up because Rachel had a milestone yesterday. At dinner, oysters were one of the things on the menu. And one thing about Rachel, she don't fuck with an oyster, okay? A raw oyster is not for her. They brought the oysters out, and I was like, oh, my God, I have to get a video of you. And, Rachel, you did good. They had some stuff on them. They had some breadcrumbs, some bacon and things, but she ate them both like a champ. And I literally, you were in the bathroom, but I actually told the chef. Yeah, I said, oh, my God, I want you to know my sister does not really like oysters. Like, she's, like, very freaked out and, like, normally would not eat them. And she just ate both of them. And literally the chef is like, yeah. It was really cool. So there's your reminder to try something new. Try a new food today. Anyway, before we get into it with the interview, I won't talk too much in the intro because it is actually a long interview. Y'all know I want to talk about Neutral. Thank you so much to Neutral for supporting the Chicks and Dip podcast. Y'all know Neutral. You know her, you love her. Neutral is vodka seltzer made with vodka and real juice. On the set today, I've got blackberry lemonade. This is one of my favorites. It's like 80 degrees out, and I am like so excited to leave the studio and go crack open an ice cold Neutral. I'm going to pour it over ice with a straw like I always do. But I also want to tell you guys, listen up. Listen up. Open your ears. May 13th, I'm having an event because Neutral has a new flavor. You heard that right. Neutral has a new flavor. Neutral Orange is out now. So on May 13th, I am partnering with Neutral, and we're going to do a like brunch bash kind of thing. Working title, but some kind of brunch event. It's going to be at the Nest in downtown Savannah, and we're still working out all the details. You know, I'll get them to you as soon as I can, but it's going to be awesome. Everybody's going to be having some great food, great views on the roof, brunch vibes, DJ, whatever, but everybody's going to be sipping that brand new Neutral Orange. I cannot wait for y'all to try it. It's so good. And yeah, so shout out to Neutral for being such a supporter of the show. I love you. With that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else major that's happened that I need to talk about. I'm looking at Rachel. She said, nah, son. I don't think so. I'll come back with some wild stories here in a couple of weeks. I've just been, the interview's really long, so I feel like I can't keep talking. Should I actually keep rambling right now about not wanting to keep rambling? Rachel's shaking her head so fast. She's giving me the get off the stage. She's playing the music. All right, you guys, I'm here on the set with this week's guest. We have two guests this week. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you.
Tell us your names. Introduce yourselves to the people.
John Exeris of Street Clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Sutphin from Street Clothes.
I'm so excited y'all are here.
Me too.
Me too.
And y'all are a patient bunch. It took me 30 minutes to set up the show after I was an hour late to my own thing.
That's okay. Yeah.
We I drank 14 coffees, so it's okay.
It was 4 when you got here. You
Yeah.
crushed 10?
Yeah. I'm going by amount of espresso shots.
Okay. Oh my God.
Andy had a podcast for a brief moment, so we know
Talking
the game.
to your mic,
We-
I'm sorry.
No, we know how it goes. Like we would be setting up late, and
I don't remember most of them. I was drunk for most of that.
Wait, you had a podcast? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, it's all right.
What was it about?
It's just like us being my dorky friend talking to Savannah people.
That's cool, though.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, we were. I mean, he's a real fucking dork, though.
In what
His name's
way?
Jason Combs. He's just like really smart.
Oh, okay.
He's just like really smart.
Okay, gotcha. Like nerd.
I like to compliment people and then insult people
Okay.
at the same time,
That's making me very nervous as
Yeah.
the host right now. I'm nervous.
just to like take the edge off. It's like I insult them, but I give them a compliment
Mm-hmm.
also.
Last week my guest was on and he also has a podcast and he was talking about like how sometimes he'll be having a conversation on a show, on an interview, and he just starts to realize like it's gonna fall flat. And then he's like, I feel like it's kind of happening right now. And I was like, am I
Wow.
getting roasted on my
Wow.
own show? Like, honestly, rude. So street clothes. Anyway, pivoting.
we won't do that. I don't think.
Tell us about your band. How long? Well, maybe we should start with like, how did y'all meet? How did the band start?
Well, let's do like the dating game where John talks about the band, and then I'll tell everyone if that's right. Or
Oh,
It's not
like
gonna
your
be
origin
right.
story.
It's not going to be right. I'm bad with time, so
Okay.
I have no idea when it could be. Like, I'm going to go between 5 and 10 years ago.
Okay.
Is that right?
Between 5 and 10 years.
I mean, that's actually right. It sounds bad when you say that, but yeah.
I didn't know the band. I came here from. I was working with a different band from like, we were touring basically, and I just found from friends of friends Street Clothes, and they had revolving members, and I stuck around, and I'm the only remaining band member of that lineup. So it's been us, Andy and I, as the core group, for what now, like 3 or 4 years?
Longer than that.
Really? Jesus.
What's 2017?
20. How many years ago? 6 years ago?
He's like 3 or 4 years. I'm like, that's
3 or
6
4.
years, dog.
5 to 10.
That's 17 years we've been in this band. Yeah, but so that's funny because like I knew he'd get stuff wrong, but that's okay. Yeah, no, that's pretty much right. But like, I mean, it's kind of right. Years are off, but yeah, like so I moved down here from New York because New York's expensive. That's where I'm from, and I moved down here and whatever. I had like a band in New York and we really sucked. Like we were fucking trash. And I was just getting so fucked up and like playing shows, but it was fun because it was the city. But then I moved down here and I wrote a bunch of songs and I started like a band called Street Clothes. And then like, it was just kind of like it started pretty bad. Like the songs were good, but it wasn't like we didn't give a fuck.
The songs are okay.
They were good. I thought they were pretty good, but we didn't give a fuck.
The newest songs that I'm on our way, but
Yeah.
Totally.
So we got better. But anyway, we'd like play and whatever. And then slowly like we got pretty good. And then John joined, and at that point we were doing our second album and we were getting dancier.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more pop, but like, synthy, poppy, which is something I always wanted to get. I want girls to dance. Like, I want the songs to be fucking good, but I want girls to dance. And when you play in an indie band with your friends, you play shows, and most of the time people go, "Oh, you're in a band?" And they're just like, gonna assume you suck. And they're gonna assume they're gonna go to the show and look at their friend and be like, "This sucks." And like, good for him. Good for them. This sucks, but we have to go to the show, and this sucks.
We have to support my friend.
Sure, like, because everyone does that. Everyone has to go to the show and look at their friend and be like, "This is like bad.
Yeah.
This isn't good." But we were pretty good. We were getting better. And then John joined, and that album we got really dancey. We had some like good songs on the album that were fucking good live. And then he got it. He was like, "Let's make it sound even poppier and make it better live and dancier and all this stuff." So we started edging more towards that. And the shows got good. I started to kind of care about singing and being like a musician, like being better at it. And then, yeah, like people, the number one thing I remember hearing is that they would come in and go, they'd see the show, and then they go, hey, you guys are good. like, like they're good. Like those songs are good. Like they're good. And they say it like, holy shit, I could, and it was genuine, but it was more of an insult. It was more like I looked at you, and I know you, and I just assumed that you fucking suck. And then they were like, I'm really amazed, like really. And then they'd say it again, and I'd be like, I get it, thank you, thanks the first time.
I heard
and
ya.
then, but yeah, so people started coming to the shows, and they like it got pretty good. And like we've always, and then we did another album. Me and John kind of just really, because we became like the core member of the group. Like other people came and went.
Yeah.
I write the songs. Like I write them in my little demo studio. I write all the shit. And I'm not that good of a musician. He's like a real musician. So I'll like write the songs, write the music, write the lyrics, and then I'll bring him the song. Like I'll be like, this is the verse, chorus, whatever, right? All that boring stuff. And then he'll make it sound really good. And then we'll have the band learn it, and we work really hard on it, and it ends up sounding great. But it's just funny because people started coming to the shows, people started singing the songs, and like people really liked it. So it's like, oh, this is getting pretty good. But when it first started, it was like a shitty indie band that your friend would drag you to, But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. And now we're, we haven't played in a while. Like we had a couple really good shows last year, and then life happens. I wrote another album, which I do a lot, and now we're playing those songs, and we're working on those songs, and we got this big show coming up. It's kind of.
First of all, I absolutely love what you said about like things sucking in the beginning.
Yeah,
Like,
they do.
I love to have creative people come on because literally no matter what lane of like creativity they're in, everybody says the same stuff. Like this podcast, whenever I tell you I want to delete honestly every episode, including like last week, like every single week,
Sure.
it gets a little better. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like I'm so embarrassed. Like don't listen to season 1, But that's just how it goes.
It's the thing about creative processes or being creative is that and this is very obvious, but it's like you have to suck. You can't, if you don't suck, you're like a fucking freak. Like I don't know what, nobody just comes out and is good. And if you're really dumb like me, you keep doing it until you actually suddenly are good. But like that took a long time. It wasn't like I thought the songs were good, but I sucked at singing them, or the production wasn't great, or whatever. But slowly you learn things, you get better, Like I don't know, that's like where we're at. But he's really talented. John's like he knows what.
Yeah, but I like
things are
nerd
in.
out on it. I take like the technical approach to things, and like the harder part for me is the big picture stuff, like kind of stepping back from it and understanding what I actually am trying to do and say, and not just like learn like something technical,
Yeah.
Because that's easy. That just takes time.
I was about to say that sounds like my worst nightmare.
Well, sure, but that's like the two sides of it, right? Like Andy's this big picture guy who's
Yeah.
like motivating, and that's the whole thing. Like if I just left it for me, I'd probably just like work and do my life, and play music when I
Not if I have
can.
anything to do
But
with
then
it.
Andy's like, no, we got to do this show. I just got a show at the Victory North. I'm like, oh, what? Victory North? Okay, when? A month from now. Okay, let's put a show together, I guess. And then now all of a sudden I'm working 5 hours a day on this thing, and it's like brutal, but it wouldn't happen without somebody doing that.
Yeah, I'm the
Pushing you in
Yeah,
that.
if you build it, they will come. Like I don't know, that's an old reference, but it's like I'm really good at writing songs, which I don't care how that sounds, but I'm good at it. I'm not good at like knowing what key things are in or giving a fuck about how the bass EQ is. Like I don't give a fuck. Like if we're in the studio, like I write the song and I'm like, yo, that's catchy. And the song is cool and the lyrics are cool and I like it and I know I would listen to it. I really like it, right? And John's like, yo, how does that tom drum sound? And I'm like, I don't know if I've ever in my fucking life thought, damn, that's a dope tom drum.
I don't even know what that
But
is.
I need him to do that because I would never give a fuck.
Right.
Like, I don't know. You could show me 20 different sounds that are on the drums and be like, yo, what do you think of this one, this one? I'd be like, I don't know.
I
He
don't
has
know.
like
I
that-
think-
he has
I
like
don't know.
programs that come with the computer, and then he's like, "This is good enough. Let's just put this out." I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, but it sounds like you
No.
said that there's been kind of like revolving people, but y'all two have always. It sounds like y'all are just a good match. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
We
yeah.
are. No, it
But
works great.
it took a while to like actually figure that out because there were like, I mean, there's full blown screaming matches where we're
Sure.
like,
Between you two?
oh my God.
One of my questions was, do y'all ever fight?
Oh yes. As
yeah.
soon as we start to get
We'll
creative,
fight right after the show.
it's done. We have to like actually, this process happened naturally, but we will like work together on something, and then once he does his part, I'm like, go away.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then
It's better.
And then it's my turn, and then
It's
I'll
better,
do it,
yeah.
and then I'll like check in with him. Okay, how's this going?
Right.
And sometimes it'd be like, oh no, not like that, not like that, more like this, or yeah, this is cool, and then we'll do collaborations. But if we're there together the entire time, it's so brutal.
not good, yeah.
I'm like, go away.
my
Yeah,
God.
we'll scream. We've lost members
Yeah.
because they've witnessed some of these fights, and we're like,
No
no, that was
Fighting
we're not
dads,
fighting.
you know?
But we're like, no, that's just how we do it, and they're like,
Yeah.
that's not healthy.
It's like
that's
super
bad.
toxic and fucked up. And they're like, I'm like old now, so like there's younger members that have come and gone or in the band, and they use terminology like that's toxic. Like you shouldn't talk to your friend like that. And I'm like, fuck him, I'll fucking kill him, So then they're like, I can't be part of this, and I'm like, yeah, well, you're weak.
You're weak. That is amazing. God, y'all are reminding me. This is not related at all, but one time
Yeah.
I was at a music festival with a friend of mine, and she brought a friend, and like from what I knew from the outside, they were like besties. So I'm thinking this is gonna be like the most pleasant experience, and they fought like that. But they're like, I'm the kind of person. If
they have a
we,
band?
No,
Did they have a band too?
it sounds like they should. I'm the kind of person like if we fight, I will never forget it. You know what I mean? It's
Sure.
all, oh yeah.
No, we don't forget it. I remember almost
No,
every
we don't
word.
forget- yeah,
But
we don't-
anyway,
I don't
continue.
forget
Like,
it.
oh, I remember. But they were literally screaming at each other. Like, I was so shook. Like, oh my God, my friends are in like a real fight. And then in 2 seconds, they're hugging on each other, like vibing again. And I remember texting my mom, and I was like, Mom, I feel like I want to come home. Like, I hate this.
You wouldn't make this band. You wouldn't survive. You'd be like, nah. But the thing is, for me, is that when it's good, it's like abusive relationship.
I love
When
this.
it's good, it's so fucking good. Like when we played the Thompson Hotel last summer, and for like Dog Days
Oh,
through
cool.
a party,
Pool
right?
party, yeah.
And we ended up headlining it, not because like we were gonna open, not open, but we were gonna play like second to last, And we ended up getting switched, and we closed the show. And it like the sun came down at the right point.
Oh.
It was just perfect. And people were in the pool, and people were going ape shit. And it was like, that's why we do it.
Yep.
And
Well,
the songs
actually-
fucking hit.
Actually, that show is a perfect example that right before that show, we had one of these blowouts. As we were loading up the gear.
As we were loading it.
As we were loading up the gear from the studio across the street to that Thompson Hotel. And the other band members were there, and they're like, dude, is the show still going on? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about?
That
What,
really
that?
happened.
Oh, that's nothing. Yeah, that's fine. We're just...
No. What do you mean? Like,
Maybe y'all's like love language is fighting, Like,
No, we're just... we're both
the problem
stubborn.
is that we both care about it. We both care.
And we understand that.
yeah.
And that's how we just kind of just, deal with it. Like, yeah, it'd be bad if you just, never cared or never had a vision or never did. You just like kind of put out whatever. It's better. Yeah.
in the words of Taylor Swift, the opposite of love is indifference.
Yes.
Oh, damn. See? Yeah. She's very wise. She's wise beyond her years.
But I do love Andy.
Yes.
This is
We do.
sweet.
Yeah, we it's like we're, we both give a shit a lot. And we also like, I like have one job in this thing or a couple jobs, and he has different jobs. So it's like, we're trying to just make usually a great album or a great song or a great performance or whatever. And it's a lot of things to juggle. And it's fucking tough. And but when it comes out well, like we did this, I'm gonna plug it, but like we did this album during the pandemic, right? And we almost killed each other during that process. But that album's my favorite thing that I've ever done, like in my life, probably.
Oh my
So
God.
It's really cool and it's great. And it's not exactly what I wanted to do because it never is. Like you do when you finish something, you put it out. It's never the thing in your head, right? Like you can't do that. If you could do that, that would be fucking great. But we did it, and I was like, damn, it's so fucking good. And it took there was like fights and fucking craziness, and a lot of like whatever, and a lot of pains in the ass. But we did the album. And I'm like,
those moments are just something kind of comes out, and you're like, whoa, this is cool, you know? Is like. It happened so many times on an album too, like so many times, which is fun.
Yeah, that's like why that's why I do it. I don't know why. I think a lot of musicians, they're just trying to write a really good song, right? Like that's like the first thing. Like if you can write a really good song, but some musicians like you just want to do a really good show. Some people don't even write their music, but they're still amazing, incredible, super talented musicians, and they just want to put on this incredible show. And it's not any easier if you're playing other people's music to pull that off, But we have to write the songs and perform. We don't do like covers or anything. Okay. We do sometimes, but we usually like very, very, very rarely. And it's always songs that nobody knows or cares about. And it's usually on my direction. I'm like, yo, I'm going to do this one. And he's like, why? Like, why would we do that song? And I'm like, because I love it. Like,
Some of them. Metro was fun.
Metro was fun. Yeah. Like the 80s song from fucking like 1982. Yeah, that one rules. I love that song.
And then the people who like see it and then you don't think that they would know the song and they come up to you like, I love that song from this, 40 years ago, and you're like, okay, cool.
Wow.
Random,
I wasn't doing it so anyone would like it, but thanks. Yeah, we played Dothan, Alabama, which is like your neck of the woods, you know what I mean? And we played this pretty big like festival for Dothan, Alabama. I don't know why they asked us to play it, but we went to Dothan, Alabama, which was, I could write a book on that, but we went and we played this pretty. You've been to Dothan?
I think so.
I'm sorry.
I don't think that we've like stopped at it, but like I feel
you don't
like
need
I used
to
drive through it.
We played
What is it,
a
Johnny
museum. No, it was
Oh my God, he's a little
Bucks Wild Saloon, R.I.P. Anyway. So we fucking go to Dothan, play this like little festival at like a museum, which was like the only art hub. Like there was only like that, and then there was just Dothan, Alabama, and you would never go there for any. We hung out in like the ShopRite or whatever, like Dollar Tree. That was like the only place to go. But the museum was really dope, and it was like cultured and cool, and the people who came there were really excited to see music that probably wasn't Travis Tritt or whatever. So it made sense, and we went and we played this song Metro by Berlin, which don't play that in Dothan, Alabama. Like, why would you play this weird, obscure 80s synth pop song that no one even knows? Some people know, but whatever. Anyway, we play it, and this dude from the back of when we get off stage, from the back of the crowd walks towards me. He's like 6-something, trucker hat unironically, and he's like, "Hey, man. Hey, I grew up on MTV, and I just want to tell you, I fucking love Berlin Metro." And I was like, I thought he was going to punch me in the face. I thought I was fighting him. I thought he was going to, like, call me, like, whatever. Like, and he was like, "Man, fuck it." And I was like, that's why we came here tonight.
How random.
It was pretty fucking random. But, yeah, we went to a place called Bucks Wild Saloon. The front window was blown out. Somebody drove into it, and they still were like having the bar open. Like they didn't care. There was no bar. It was a table, and like alcohol on it. And they'd been open 10 years.
Stop.
They've been open 10 years, and they never got a bar. They just didn't give a fuck.
There was a bar there? What are you talking about?
No, it was a table for the alcohol, dude. There was a bar. Okay, there was a bar, but then there was like a back bar that was just a folding
It was the most wild place. It was wild. There was this guy there, something golden, and he was like the southern, something like that. But he had like the tan face and like the eyeliner and the lip gloss, but like with the southern, like
he looked like a wrestler.
Like
he was trying to be a wrestler. He was like a jacked, like old wrestler with like cowboy.
And I think he actually owned the Dollar Generals that we were hanging out at before too. Like he was like Mr. Dothan.
Oh
he
my
owned
God.
Dothan,
He's
Alabama.
the businessman.
Yeah.
He's the only one.
Yeah, it was
He's
so
like
strange.
Man, he had like a 60-year-old woman on his knee.
He came in,
smoking.
people were like, oh, there he is. I'm like, there is who?
Oh my god,
Who the
I'm
hell
like
is that?
praying that someone from Dothan comes across this
I
show
hope
because
that-
I
yeah,
bet
this
they
is
know
way too
him.
much
They're
They
like,
know
oh,
him.
that's so-and-so.
No, if
This
you
is-
grew up and like everyone knows this guy in Dothan. He's like the man. What the fuck was his name? He had a book behind the bar, like a book that he had paid to be printed, and it said, "My Wild Ride to the Top, Bucks Wild" or whatever, and his name by like Jonathan Golden or whatever it was. And I was like, I'm only mad. I have one regret in life, and it's that I didn't buy that book.
Oh my god.
Because I know it would be fucking every morning I'd read it and be like, this is, and take over the world.
I mean, seriously, like so
Jeff?
inspirational.
So Jeff Golden. Jeff Golden.
Jeff Golden is his name.
Yeah. Jeff fucking Golden. He was like black eyeliner, jacked, absolutely not.
Oh, this
woke
is
or
like, it doesn't
He
get.
was straight.
Is that him?
This is him.
Yeah, that's him. And he. And
Y'all met this person?
Yeah.
He could have been.
He looks like a meme.
He is a meme. He's just not a real person, but he's a real
Rachel,
person.
Elvis
You have to see
impersonating.
this.
Yeah, let
No,
me get
it's
this.
pretty
We gotta
amazing.
Get like on the.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's the best. Jeff Golden. Yeah, probably. I don't know. It was only like 3 years ago or something. He fucking.
good.
He fucking rocked. Like we missed his set too. We went in and he had like instruments, and they were like, "Oh, you missed Buck's Wild set," and I was like, we were like, "What?" And then we saw him there, and then we're like taking everything in, and we're like, "Yo, we just missed like Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock." Like we just missed because it was the last day they were ever open. It was like the final night. And they were like, "Yes, someone drove through the fucking front windshield last night." And then like we're open, and there was like nobody in there was less than 60 years old, and it was Duck Dynasty. Everyone was Duck Dynasty.
Yes.
Or like the Tiger Hunter, whatever that show is.
Tiger, yeah,
Oh,
that
Tiger
guy.
King?
Yeah, all those. People.
Yeah, it was them, and then it was
Whatever.
also like their. And if you could believe this, it was them and their like groupies.
Yeah.
There was group, and then we went to the Waffle House afterwards just to like complete the whole thing. And there wasn't a table clean. It was like piles of shit. And this lady was like, "Sit somewhere," and I was like, "Yeah."
Okay. Dothan, Alabama.
Dothan, Alabama.
I feel like so one of my favorite episodes I've ever recorded. I just did a recap of a New Orleans trip. Like I feel like I want y'all to come back and let's just do like a
Yeah.
Dothan deep dive, maybe.
Deep dive to Dothan.
Yeah.
No, that was it. That was everything.
No, that was all of
pretty
it.
much
There's
all.
nothing else to
That's
do
it.
in Dothan. And now Bucks Wild's gone anyway, so I don't know what they have.
Yeah, maybe
like,
they
don't-
reopened.
I'll tell you what they don't have: a fucking artisanal coffee shop.
They don't
They
have
don't. No
any
fucking way.
local coffee?
I would be blown the fuck away if they had anything. They might have what are they, like a Dunkin' Donuts or something?
Maybe y'all should do that. Maybe y'all should go move there
Go back.
and
You could.
open the coffee
Look,
shop.
if Bucks Wild is closed, you can go there and be the new Bucks.
All you need is a folding table.
Yeah, you gotta need a folding table. Oh, the bartender was like the only.
I don't even know if you need a liquor license. It didn't seem like it.
I don't even know where to go from there. I like literally. How do we get back on track? I don't know.
What do you want to know?
I did want to know what artists and other bands like inspire you, and like who do y'all look up to?
So like a lot, but like I think if you like a lot, but like I think if you like listen or saw our show or something, saw one of our shows or listened to the album or whatever, I think like.
Which
I'm
hopefully
really-
you'll come to the show. By the way.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be really
All right.
fun. It's Saturday, May 20th at Victory North. But I think, like, first I was, like, super influenced by 70s, like, glam rock and, like, David Bowie and, like, Lou Reed and all these, like, kind of, weird influences. And then as I got a little bit synthier, or I got, like, a arpeggiator, which is the thing that goes you make disco with it. I got one of those, and then I went off. But you could say like, we like Tame Impala. And
Well, yeah,
Arcade
that's
Fire.
like that stuff is like the overlap.
Yeah, I think
That's the modern, like
yeah,
it's like
more
80s influence, but more modern. And Andy's got this like real big vision of like what it should be in terms of 80s and new wave and synth. But then there's this like whole modern element that just gets put on because it's kind of inevitable during the recording process when you're recording with like brand new, super high quality gear that doesn't have like, you know, electrical problems or like weird little nuances or needs to be cleaned, which is like all those recordings from then have all those little like crackles and pops, and like even when you play a record, it's like lo-fi. It's not that. It's like the recordings are as hi-fi as possible to get that kind of polished pop sound. So it's like modern but 80s influenced. So that's that. But then also
I think like the bands that are like Tame Impala, Arcade Fire, Gorillaz, like all these newer bands, I think it's more that I was influenced by probably the same things they were influenced by. And so I'm like taking all this influence from like weird 80s and 70s proto synth pop weird shit. Nobody, people love it. Like hipster indie people fucking love all that, like these bands like Ecstasy and all these weird bands. But I think at the end of the day, because of John's production, it ends up sounding closer to something like Tame Impala or Gorillaz or one of those bands, LCD Sound System, that kind of stuff. But the idea is the same. It's like indie, weird, subversive lyrics, but if it doesn't make you shake your ass and want to dance, it's kind of like not a street clothes song. Like it won't make the cut. Like I'll be like, it's good, but you know, I don't really see anyone dancing in this live. And then I'll be like, you know, so.
yeah, every choice is just like as dancey as it could be, or is just going to be like, is just going to take away from how much energy the song has, and then if the answer is, you know, it's not as dancey as it could be or fun, then it goes, and that's it.
I really hate the sad guy at the party with the acoustic guitar. I fucking hate him. And like everyone who's a musician has that part of them where they have a little bit of that guy. You know what I mean? Because when you learn an instrument, you want to play that.
I do too.
You want to come to the party. Part of you wants to come to the beach or the party with an acoustic guitar. Like you want to. Yeah, I don't, not anymore, but I used to. Yeah. I think when I first was writing songs, I was like, oh, I should bring this to the beach. And I fucking have to hate that. I have to hate that guy. And then that's like never what I want to do. Like, I don't want to go to the open mic with an acoustic guitar and play you this sad song. I want you to come to the show and be like, this is some stupid indie band. And then be like, yo, holy shit, that was wild. Yeah. And know all the lyrics because it's that catchy. So, I mean, that's the opposite of the acoustic sad guy. I don't know why I think about that, but that's like the opposite.
Now that you put it in my head,
You know what I
I was
mean?
like cringing my toes whenever
Yeah.
you started to talk about someone
Yeah.
showing up at a social event with a guitar.
Right?
I'm like, no.
No.
Like,
No.
because they're like, then as someone at the party, if I see someone pulling their guitar out,
Yeah.
I'm like, please don't be bad. Please don't be bad.
No.
I'm begging you. Please be good.
Even if you're good, even if you're good, even if you're fucking great, don't bring your acoustic guitar to the party.
I think that's just good advice.
I think
across
it's
the
great
board.
advice. Now, if you're at the party and somebody goes, "Hey, that guy's a great musician," just take the compliment. Just be like, "Cool, thanks." Hey, play the guitar. Nah, you're cooler.
Yeah, it's
automatic.
like you're going to a party thinking ahead of time that I'm gonna pull out my guitar and then like subject everybody there to what I want to do. This
It is
is
a
my
douchey thing to
moment.
do.
It is. It's kind of
douchey
weird.
thing to do. It's really selfish. It's like, yeah, it's
Really
like
selfish.
it's really selfish of you, and it's this like a PSA. Like, don't do that. I know you just learned this new thing,
Wonderwall
and
is the
yeah,
one,
you
right?
learned your
Wonderwall.
new. Yeah, you're like really excited.
What's an acceptable party trick?
I don't know.
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
Is now so like go. I don't know. You know what's cool? Going to the party. Not even going to the party. If you're having a party somehow, or you're friends with whoever owns the house or whatever, and you have a really great like playlist, and it's like really good, but that's really tough because most people's playlists suck.
Yep.
And so just like really cool one where no one's like annoyed by it and it's like, this is fucking good. Because that's the kind of place you want. You want people to just be like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking great.
Who's
you know?
on the aux right now? Like,
So if you can do that, that's a real tough thing. Being a DJ is really, not like one of those DJs, like being like a, That's tough, and I'm impressed by that.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Can I tell y'all? This
You
is not
have
a party trick. It's not, but I feel like almost has become. But it's more so like the story that everyone I've ever interacted with ends up hearing if we're at a social function. Every time somebody wants to call an Uber or we're in the Uber or whatever, everyone listening knows what I'm about to say because they've also heard this 10 times.
Okay.
But I always am like, I have a taxi license. And everyone is like, huh? And it's my favorite thing. I'm like, yeah, like you call that Uber. I have a taxi license. In
Wow.
college, I drove a taxi for a minute because Uber was not in Mississippi yet. And so that was my side
Nice.
hustle.
That's
Wow,
awesome.
you really have a taxi license?
Yeah.
Did you have an aux
Pretty
cable in
impressive.
the taxi, or were you on the
So it
radio?
was actually, they put me in like a souped up like golf cart thing.
What?
Yeah, and so it was like a street legal golf cart with like room for 6. And in the winter they put doors on it, and then they had these big ass speakers like installed. So it was like popping down the street.
Wow. Well, I guess the question was, did you have to practice your DJing?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And okay,
All right, there you go.
Literally the day, this is such like a random memory in my brain. The day that Tom Petty died, I like put on Tom Petty radio, and that was like probably the most like tips I ever got.
Were people crying?
People were so upset, and they were like, "Thank you for playing that."
He's from in that part of the world. He's from like North Florida area.
Is he?
That's where he's from. Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if people were like crying, like Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well,
So I
that's
don't know if it's a party trick, but it's probably one of
That's
the most
pretty cool.
annoying things about me that I bring that up every single day.
I mean, oh well. I think you should just blow everyone away and just move to New York and just get a taxi license, pursue this as a career, and be the only you're just a
move
weird
this.
person that decided to go be a cabbie, like an old school
this
cabbie, not an
podcast
Uber.
in-
I was
Into
about to
the-
say we could podcast in the taxi.
Well, that's a show.
Isn't that a show?
They did that show, yeah. No, you would be like you're like, I'm gonna be a cab driver from the 80s. I'm gonna be a 1990s cab driver. And your parents are like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, I just love this job. I love doing this."
Our dad always says he doesn't care what we do as long as we do it to the best of our ability. So I would have to be the
I
best
don't even know
damn
what that would
taxi
be.
driver.
You smell like hot dog water, and you just like you yell at people, and you drive way out of control because that's what a New York cabbie does. That's like you flick hot dog water in the back.
I'm the best. Like, this is an experience.
This is the real experience because that's gone now. You get like nice water. There's snacks.
Really? In the
Clean
yellow
car. No,
cabs?
no, in like an Uber.
Oh.
In
my
like an
God.
Uber in New York.
Have
yeah.
y'all had that Uber around here that has like the candy thing?
I've seen a couple of those.
Candy
Oh
thing.
my God, it's this huge like organizer thing, and all like that you like would put makeup in, and it's just full of little candies.
This is one Uber, or multiple Ubers are doing it.
There's one that's around Savannah. I've had it
I
twice.
know I've seen
and I'm
one.
like, look, it's the candy one. I'm like, yes.
Get that person on the show.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a professional Uber driver. I think they're probably doing very well.
You think that I'm gonna bring on another probably better taxi driver
Oh, yeah,
than me
that's
on
a
this
bad
show?
idea.
Oh,
That's my favorite thing to tell
Right,
people about
yeah.
me.
Or you could just pull that power move. Oh, you don't have your taxi license. Interesting.
oh. So you're not like pursuing this like for real then? You've got your taxi license. That's like having currency in a fucking empire it doesn't exist anymore. I have my taxi license. Bro, it's 2023. What are you doing? Why would you have that? Yeah, I'm going to school for my taxi. I'm studying maps. I'm studying maps. You know who? I was going to be a firefighter, but I said fuck that, and I'm studying maps to be because they have to study maps too, So that would be a better career. But I have my taxi license. What do they call it? There's like a word for that. It's like a
PDL?
medallion. It's a medallion.
Yep.
In New York, it's called. Did you have a medallion? They didn't call it that in Mississippi.
No.
They didn't have that word.
Also, the taxi license, like, it didn't even look like any kind of like driver's license. It was red, and it just had a picture of me on it, and it didn't have my
Oh.
birthday or anything, and it had like the Mississippi
that's cool.
like logo. Before I was 21, I would try to use it as a fake ID.
You could get your taxi license before you're 21.
Yeah.
Are there cities in Mississippi?
Are there cities? Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Jackson.
Wait. Oh, I was gonna say Mobile. Fuck.
Oh no, yeah. No, that's Alabama.
That's Alabama.
Look at my sister. She's
Sorry.
like, Jesus.
Sisters.
I don't know. I was
Pissed.
just trying to picture like a what's the need? What's the demand
Biloxi.
for taxis?
Would you say Biloxi's a city? Yeah.
All
All right, we're talking about taxis. No, it's
Yeah. What are we? We're getting lost here. All right. Okay. Well.
Tell me about the show.
Okay. Oh. So. It's gonna. So like we hadn't played a show since like August, right? Which is a long time to not play a show. But I've been writing, working on a new album, whatever, and John's been doing stuff. And at some point, when it gets too long before you've played, you're like, you get that itch. You're like, why are we not playing? Like, what are we doing? So I kind of just said, I texted John. I was like, yo, if we play Victory North, like, could we do it? Like, if I booked it for like May 20, you're right. And he was like, I mean, I guess we could do it. And I'm like, all right. And then I kind of just pulled the trigger on it. And I was just like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
well, the thinking behind that is, why did we think that we could do it? And Victory North is like a 650 to 800 person venue,
It's big.
so it's big, and we haven't played. I mean, maybe like once or twice besides
We've
like
played
outside
places
shows.
that big, but we've never been the headliner.
True,
we haven't been the
true,
draw to
true.
bring
Exactly.
750 fucking people
So the
to a
thing,
venue.
yeah, the thinking was have we done something that could like be any type of marker that could say yes, maybe we could scale up a little bit. And yes, we've done it a bunch. We've packed houses consistently every time we play. So, it's always like closer to the either definitely can't get in because it's a fire marshal will come by or something,
That's amazing.
or that it, like
We're always
for
surprised too.
Kyle-
We don't believe it every time.
Kyle Brown's Dog Days show there at the Thompson Hotel. That was one of the better ones there, and
Shout out to Kyle Brown.
And you know, we actually just got the footage from that, so we'll show that pretty soon. But there's like people jumping in the pool at sunset, and it was just wild. We were selling
I
jorts.
think we just the jorts were a hit.
So we were just like, let's do it. I think we can do it. You know, maybe it's not going to be, completely packed, but it's time. It's definitely time to take that next step, and it makes us nervous, but we're super excited.
Yeah, and like my friend, I got a friend Johnny Couch who's like from Brook, like lives in New York and plays all over New York, and he kind of called me and was like, "Hey, Andy, do you want to do a show? Like, I want to play Savannah. I haven't played in Savannah in a while. Let's do a show." And I was like, "Okay." And I know he was probably thinking like a smaller venue, probably, but my brain's fucked up, so I was like, "Let's just do the biggest venue in this town." Like,
Yeah.
fuck it. Like, I don't give, like, because what's going to excite me? Like, what's really going to do it for us? Because we've done these shows last year where we packed out all these places and it was so much fun. And I was like, let's do something that's challenging and a little bit weird. And so Johnny's going to come down. He's going to have past members of our band that are friends of ours as his band, which is fucking weird and interesting because we're all friends. And they're like, we're going to be Johnny's backing
But
band.
very cool too.
And
Like
very cool, yeah.
yeah.
Like all three, like three very important ex-members of Street Clothes are going to be his band. So that's
Wow.
fucking dope. And they're coming down, for the show and to do it. And then we were like, well, what else do we want to do? And there's a lot of great bands in this town. So it was like, there was a pretty serious thought of like, who else do we get? Like another local band to open. And then at some point that Tennessee thing happened with the drag shows being banned. And I was like, well, we could have another really good band, and that would be easy and fun.
I didn't want another band. I said, let's do something else.
Yeah.
Let's figure out what
Yeah.
else we could do.
Yeah.
And then we just thought, let's do a drag burlesque, like something really fucking fun and weird, and something you might not see at a regular rock show, like every time. And so we were like, all right. And then it so happened that our drummer, Dan, kind of was in that world of like burlesque and cabaret and shit. And he was like, I could put it together. We could have a real live band. Because usually it's backing tracks for most burlesque and drag. So we were like, let's make it harder on ourselves. So we gotta let's make it hard. Let's do this thing that should be really easy and make it fucking hard as fuck. So yeah. So that's what we did. So that's what we're doing, and it's going to be great. And we have like Red, who's going to be the main drag performer in it. And then we've got like the Dirty Dolls, members of the Dirty Dolls doing stuff. And then Dan and Olive are like doing a lot of the music, and that's more cabaret. It's really going to be John Taylor's going to be doing his thing, Jack and the Cox. And it's just going to be like a 45-minute
Jack and the Cox, he's
fucking
great.
super hyper entertaining, fun thing in between two really cool.
But also live music with that stuff. I don't think I've seen
I have never.
live music cabaret
No.
or burlesque. So
I love this whole concept. It's so cool.
Yeah, I like the name Jack and the Cox because it's like just not giving a fuck. Yeah. It's like there's no. It's just like, yeah, Jack and the Cox. But yeah, so I think the show's going to be like, again, we just want it to be super entertaining for the first thing. And then also, it's like we want people to leave and go, yo, if you didn't go to this show, you're like, yo, that was pretty fucking spectacular. Like, that was the show. And I think we're going to pull it off. I mean, we sound pretty tight, and we're busting our ass. And Johnny Couch is always really amazing. He's not like super big here, but some people really like him and know him. He's bigger in New York, but he's like very much does the kind of we're like.
He's like the real deal 80s rock these days. He's like the real sound.
He's like the real
something
dude.
different, but that's the real deal.
Yeah, he's fucking great.
Good.
I love him. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we're doing. We're gonna try to do it. People might get naked.
Cool.
Yeah. We're going to have jorts and records for sale.
Jorts are awesome for anybody who's audio only. Like, will you hold some up for the video people? Yeah. The people who are audio only, literally.
John can do it.
They're like.
John sewed these by hand.
Denim jorts. And they have street clothes, like, embroidered on them. They're so cute. Yeah. Also, where'd the name come from?
I started the band with like my friend Austin Harris and my friend Jimmy Little, and they both moved. They ended up moving away, but started it, had the songs and started it. And Jimmy Little didn't really, he's like a bearded, looks tough, but he's like a big baby musician sweetheart. But he came up, we couldn't think of a name because I can't think of band names. If you ever try to think of a band name, it's very hard. They're really shitty.
Oh my God, I bet. I had a professor, sorry, I'm not trying to.
Yeah, what was the name?
Well, I had a professor who I wore this outfit, and they were like, honestly, kind of similar pants to these.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he just said, "Too much pants." And both of us were like, should that be a band name?
That's a good band name.
Right?
That's amazing.
That's a good band name. That's actually better than most people's band names.
Better than street clothes.
Maybe. I like street clothes because it kind of means nothing. But he just, like, we couldn't think of one, and I already had the songs, and we'd already been playing. So we didn't play a show yet, but we had one coming up, and we had to have a name. And I just couldn't, Like, I was like, they were all, I don't even remember what they were, but they were bad. And he just came up to me, and he goes, "Street clothes." And I go, "Oh.
Fine.
Yeah. That's great.
Whatever.
It's fucking
No,
great.
I haven't thought of that. It's better if it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't
Honestly,
mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you just have to, like,
Because,
fight
like,
something
if it
or-
means something, that's bad. Like,
Yeah.
it's probably bad. Like, it's like James and the Rockers or whatever the fuck.
The giant peach.
Yeah, no, I'm not thinking. That would be
James
better.
and the Rockers.
Yeah, like Steve and the trumpet players or whatever. Like, it's bad. So I like street clothes because it means nothing, but it's like, it's like, oh, what is that? And, I liked it. And I never asked him what the fuck he was talking about.
I love
I
this.
never asked him. I never will. Like, I could text him and be like, what were you thinking of? He probably
Yeah.
doesn't know.
Every interview we get asked what the band name came from. Do you have an answer? No, don't ask. Don't ever ask.
It doesn't mean anything. He just said it. But he said it, and I remember before that, we both had so many bad. We had a list going. You write a list. It was like 30 names, and they were all horrific. I wish I still had it. It was probably like fucking
So
the
glad I
worst
wasn't there for
names.
any of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And then he just like, I was like, God. And then at the end, I think we were tired, and we were bartending together, and he just came up and he was like, "Street clothes." And I think it was the way he said it too, because he was like, "Street clothes," and I was like,
Yes. I'm
Great.
nodding with you right now.
Fucking
I'm like,
great,
yeah.
Jimmy Little. Like, it was his voice. Like, he was like, street clothes. And I was like, fuck, all right.
It's a cool name. I really like it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've heard worse, you know? Like, if U2, which, you know, they could be really pretty, people can hate them because they suck sometimes. But, like, let's say they weren't a super famous, world famous band. The name U2 sucks. Like, I don't even know what it means or anything, but, like, dude, you named your band U2, like, with the number.
Yeah.
But they were super famous, and then everyone kind of forgot how bad that name is.
That
It's a
is
bad name.
so true.
I think
like,
it's true.
I
I think it's true.
think about that with podcast names too. I'm in the middle of rebranding a show because Chicks and Dip doesn't make any sense because
Chicks
I'm
and
a solo
Dip.
chip. I'm a solo chick now. But in coming up with the name, I'm like, all of these sound weird. But then I think about like Call Her Daddy. Whenever she had no followers, I'm sure that name sounded really fucking weird too. You know what I mean?
I think once you
Do something with pizza so you don't have to ditch the.
It does look like pizza.
Okay, the parent company, that's still gonna stay. So yeah,
Okay.
Three Chicks Media
No,
will
but
have
the
the same
pizza.
logo.
I thought it was pizza.
You know what? Should I just say fuck it? It's pizza. Like
Yeah. Don't explain
I can't
it.
tell you how to live your life, but pizza. People like pizza.
people like chips and dip though.
That's
I
true. It
prefer
could be
dip
chip
to
and
pizza.
dip.
Wow.
I think I do. Queso is like whenever you do the snack bracket thing. Queso is always my winner. That and cereal are my bottom two.
I like. Yeah, I mean, everybody like.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. Pizza is like.
No, pizza wouldn't be on the snack bracket though. I guess that's not really a
Oh,
snack.
okay.
No,
okay.
it's not a
all right. All
snack.
right. Well.
It's a snack if you're
Pizza rolls,
if
but
you don't
all right.
give a fuck. Yo, I just a bag of pizza, like a bag of pizza.
I eat a bag of pizza very often. I like
A bag of
pizza roll. I eat pizza and then
Yo,
I eat
bag
pizza
of pizza
rolls.
is the name of your podcast. But yeah, so Street Clothes was the name. But yeah, there's I've even thought about other like side projects or doing other things, and I could never come up with a better name. So it's just Street Clothes forever. Like I can't do better than that. So
Cool. And it's on the shorts already, so
yeah, we already
can't
branded.
change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, once you have merch, it's like okay, well.
Also, people usually think Street Clothes is like my name sometimes, like or a rapper, like a rapper. They for some reason I've had people think that my name's Street Clothes, and that's always flattering. Or they'll yell Street Clothes at me and then think that's. This happens less now because I think John's more visible, like out in the world, at least in Savannah, so they know who we are. But at one point, people thought my name was Street Clothes, and I was like a rapper. Because Street Clothes kind of sounds like it could be a rapper,
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Yeah.
and I like that too because we're not. But I mean, I don't know. It's like hip with the kids or whatever. So it's like a DJ or I don't know.
That's gotta be cool to be walking down the street and somebody be like, "Hey, Street Clothes." You're like,
I mean,
"That's
I hear it a
me."
lot. I hear it a lot, but it's also a small town, you know. So I got to
Yeah.
keep myself in check. It's not like I'm the coolest dude, but it happens, and that's nice. And they don't know. There was a point where they knew the band's name more than my. Like they didn't know me. Like they weren't like, "Hey, Andy," and I always thought that was way cooler if they say the band name. But yeah,
So the show is about life in your 20s. Y'all haven't been there in a while.
Thank you. Thank you.
Every single week on the show, I find some way to say that people in their 30s are old.
Got it.
And I'm getting worried. I think that some of my older listeners are going to stop listening. So I need to knock it off.
yeah,
well, also,
that's
that's like the
ageism. That's
opposite message I
ageism.
think that a 30-year-old would say. You know, like tell the 20-year-olds, and then you're like, I don't feel 30, but yet we're getting reminders, even
Right.
on this show.
I was 20 once. I think John was 20 once.
Once. What advice do you have for people listening who are in their 20s?
Um,
Oh, God. It can be about any lane of life.
Oh, I think my advice would be, if you make it to your 30s, that's really the only goal. Because in your 30s, you're just a better, smarter person. And anyone who isn't is a serial killer. Like if you're doing really great in this world right now at 24, you're like in shape and you're doing great and you're like doing your job well and you're like have a career and everything's great. I'm like, I don't even know what we have in common. Like I don't even understand. Like what the fuck? The fuck? So I mean, just make it to your 30s, because like if you fuck up, don't kill anyone with a car drunkenly or do anything really bad. like that. But if you make it to your 30s, you should be all right, you know? Hopefully, you should be okay if there's still like a world left or whatever. But yeah. But I think that you're 20. I don't know because we're musicians, so we just fucked up our whole 20s.
No.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
We have bad advice.
Yeah, I think
We fucked
as
up.
an artist, yeah, I guess, yeah.
I'm doing great
we
now.
followed music everywhere.
Yeah.
I moved across the country, just
Yeah.
following music. No other reason, just music. And like, what about it? Music. And then I came back, lived in Los Angeles with a job, and then moved into a van for a year and a half. Why? Music. That's
Yep.
the only.
Yeah.
So, just like focus. But I guess my advice is basically similar. Like, don't worry about it. Things will just come together.
It's terrible advice.
Like no, like if you just keep doing what you're doing and like
Get really good at
like your
very
father's
specific
advice,
things.
doing it to the best of your ability. Then if you like do something new because you want to, or you're sick of it, or it wasn't what you wanted to do, eventually these skills will like start to just come together and then make something new and cool and unique, and then it'll make sense. Then it doesn't have to make sense now.
Yeah, I think you should get really good at like things that maybe no one else cares about too much. But like if you get really good at niche things, like whatever, you get really good at these things. That's good. Like then you might have a skill nobody else has. Like I don't know, being a taxi driver or whatever in 2023. But I
Backup
think,
plans.
Yeah. I think it's bad to ask musicians about life advice because my heroes don't ask musicians. You know what my advice is? Don't ask musicians for life advice because my heroes when I was in my 20s are mostly dead.
God.
Okay, and they're mostly totally shitty people, like really shitty people. My biggest heroes are all canceled and shitty. So like, don't even listen to them at all. But I think, and like all the good musicians are pretty shitty people. I think most of the time.
I feel like that.
You know what I mean? Like they are. So don't listen to musicians.
Look, y'all are giving good advice though. No, I like the advice of like you're gonna be okay.
I think you're gonna be okay if you make it past your 30s without like doing something real fucked up.
Yeah.
Like by your 30s you kind of learn a lot of shit. But there's no way around it. You can't like skip that part. You can't just fast forward to being a decent person.
Yeah. I get so hung up of career-wise. I have just had a lot of change in the last like 2 years, and
Yeah.
so I get so frustrated.
Wonder why? No. What happened in the last 2 years?
I just get frustrated that like whatever, like currently this is my full-time job, and so it's like, oh my God, like why can't it be what I know it will be one day, like right now? And like patience is so hard right now.
Patience is hard.
But I like that reminder. We gonna be all right.
It's gonna be
gonna
all
be
right.
fine.
You just focus on being good at what you love. I think usually works. I mean, not always, but I mean, if you're really fucking good at something, you're probably gonna have like some skills that nobody else has. Like I don't know. That's why my advice is kind of. It's like don't ask musicians because like I got really good at stuff that never made anybody money, but then all of a sudden you start doing stuff your way.
I mean, also we don't make any money, and actually, this is kind of a interesting, unique part to Street Clothes, which is that Andy and I, being the core members of the band, don't have like your typical musician lifestyle where you're like broke all the time. We actually like have other jobs and like do okay, and we're not relying
By
on the
accident,
band.
though.
We're like not relying on the band for any source of income. So the amount that we play and the amount of content that we produce isn't like affected by our income,
Right.
which is maybe a good thing or maybe a bad thing. Maybe it'd be better if we had some like fear-based motivation or something like that.
I can tell
Yeah.
you firsthand the
Yeah.
fear of not being able
Yeah.
to pay your rent because, like, you know, you
Yeah,
haven't
I get-
put
yeah.
out content.
Sure.
It's like,
Shout out to
Yeah.
any
But
full-time
that
musicians.
means that, like, keeping up with the social media and all that stuff, I don't know how people do it. We suck at it. We hate it. We want to find somebody who does it, and it's just something that we all got to do. So, like, you got to keep up with the grind of doing the thing that you do, but then also keep it balanced. So you don't have to, like, focus totally on one thing, but then also be able to say something. It's a lot. It's a lot going on.
If I could have any advice for 20-year-olds, bring an acoustic guitar everywhere you go. Do you like xylophone? Bring a xylophone. Do you like accordion? Bring it. Yeah, our keyboard player Eli, who we haven't mentioned once in this podcast, is super talented, and you should have him on because he grew up in a fucking cult.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
He's got a great
But
story.
yeah, he escaped a cult. I
Wait.
don't think I'm oversharing. I think he would just say
Yeah, you
that.
might have to
but
chop that up a bit.
I think. Well, I mean,
Well,
he
it's a
did. He
12
left a
track.
cult, but he grew up, and I'm gonna give you like the preview of Eli. Yeah. Yeah, he grew up in that, and
I have, oh my God, wait, I
yeah,
have so many questions.
Yeah, you should interview him.
Oh my God, tell him to come on, literally.
He's great, and he's so incredible because he's been in the band for a little bit, a couple years, and he learned to play music on acoustic instruments. So that means like no synths or computers or anything.
No
just
drums.
like straight up
They don't allow
acoustic
drums.
and accordion and like maybe piano. And he also had to learn, basically, from what I understand, only Israeli folk music, which is like, what the fuck is that? And it's like weird chords and weird whatever. It's fucking
It's not
Israeli
that
folk
weird, dude.
music.
It's
Like
not
it's
that
not
weird.
something you grew up with.
Yeah.
In most of America, but he did. So he's got this weird superpower where he like can play really well and whatever, but he never could use like synths. He only plays synths in street clothes. So when he joined the band, he had to like basically teach himself and learn how.
Well,
to
I get.
play
Yeah, he didn't even have the
synths.
gear. I
Yeah.
gave him a laptop.
He played
and
piano.
MIDI keyboards and like, and every time he comes to practice, I have to like bring the gear, and then he sets up his
Because
stuff,
he
and I
grew
set
up,
up my
like,
stuff,
in-
and now he's like trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
But
And he's like 25,
the superpower aspect to him is that for melodic content, we rely on him
Yeah.
extremely heavily for
Yeah.
some reason.
He gets
he
pop
has
music.
like the best pop sensibility of us all, and makes the coolest melodies, and they're always like very simple. But we're like, that's better, you know. It's
He's
not
like,
like
he'll play
crazy. It's like
something as
it's like
like-
that's perfect. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it needed. That's what it's like, familiar but new. It's perfect
Yeah,
every time.
Very interesting.
It's
Yeah.
super fucking weird.
He's very
And
good.
he'll play some and it'll be like, you'd be like, that would be on the radio. That would definitely be on the radio. Like that's Harry Styles would sample that whole thing, or whoever the fuck is on the radio. Like that. I said to him last week, I was like, bro, that's like Dua Lipa. What you're doing? I don't
Oh
even
my
know what that
God.
is, but that's what you're doing right now. And he's like, yeah. But he's just super, has a great pop sensibility. And it's so funny because he grew up
Not listening to
not
that.
listen- he was not allowed to listen to that, and I think that's why he's so good at it. Because he heard pop music and was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like we're indie musicians. It's not cool to make music that's on the radio. I
Yeah.
guess it's cooler now, but at some point it just wasn't cool. And he doesn't know that at all. So he's like, "Why can't it be the poppiest thing you ever heard in your life?" So
That's
he's
awesome.
really our secret weapon. And we won't let him leave. We're not. He's like our abused child.
Y'all are his new cults.
We're his new cult. We're like Eli. Play this shit. Yeah, that's what's happening.
We need to cut this part. Cut this part.
Yeah, we just lock him in the room and make him write pop music all day. That's not catchy enough, Eli. Does that sound catchy to you?
Dua Lipa!
Dua Lipa. I don't even know what Dua Lipa is. I'm just yelling Dua Lipa at him. Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa. He's like, no, I'm sorry. Anyway, Eli's fucking amazing, and he should come. You should interview him because
Yeah,
he's got a
you
whole
should.
story. He escaped,
That is nuts. Okay,
Yeah.
I want him to come on the show. That's
and now he joined our.
Yeah, and he's young too. What is he? 26. Yeah.
wow.
So he's right there.
Someone in their 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 26, but he grew up in a world where like he didn't have anything that normal 20-year-olds
Wow.
have, right? So
There's
like,
those 2 kids that came out of that.
yeah, he's got 2 kids, which is crazy.
Okay, he has to come on.
Anyway, we've talked about Eli a lot. He should just come in and tell his story. I think so.
Anything else y'all want me to know about Street Clothes, the show coming up?
Street Clothes the
$20.
musical. $20. It's on a Saturday night.
It's a great value.
Victory North. We are going to blow your Jack in the Cocks off. It's going to be a great show. We promise. It always is, but we're gonna really fucking. This might be the last Street Clothes show. This might be the only Street Clothes show of the year. We might burn the venue down.
Yeah.
We might get arrested. There may be cops involved, but we promise that it's going to be a real fucking show. Oh, and I think we're going to film it too. So if you want to be in a music video.
Hell yeah. Tell people where they can find you. Plug your socials.
Yeah, all right. So we're Street Clothes Band on Instagram. And then Street Clothes everywhere else. Like you just look us up, Street Clothes Band.
StreetClothesBand.com, is that right?
Yeah, StreetClothesBand.com. But Eventbrite is where you get the tickets. And it's May 20th on Saturday motherfucking night. And it's like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock kind of thing, like first band. And then we're going to go, and it's going to be real fun. So Victory is on Victory Street.
Victory Street.
Victory
you can probably
Drive.
Find the tickets
Victory
on
Drive.
the,
And it's like
website too,
a big
victorynorth.com.
motherfucking venue. Also, the Garage, which is a really cool restaurant, is right next to it. And you should go there and get some food right before or hang out or whatever and get some drinks. It's real fucking good. They got a Crunch Wrap.
I was literally about to bring up
Seen the
the Crunch
Crunch
Wrap.
Wrap?
Literally the
Crunch
next thing out of
Wrap?
my mouth.
Wow.
We're plugging. We're not trying to, but that fucking Crunch Wrap is the truth.
It is
Like,
unreal. How you
it's
get
what
it,
a Crunch
double
Wrap's
stuffed or
supposed to be.
whatever.
Yeah,
Oh.
supposed to be. Like what you visualize a Crunch Wrap's supposed to be, it's that. And they did it. But anyway, so Garage, and then watch our show, and then, after party wherever, All right.
All right. Thank you all for coming on. This has been really fun.
Yeah, this has been fun. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, y'all. I hope that y'all enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. That was really fun. I laughed so much. And I just love, they're not in their 20s. And I love that. I love to bring people on who are in their 20s who can tell you funny stories that you guys are feeling at the same time as they are. But I also love to have people on who have been through their 20s and have come out of them okay. And I just love that reminder. Whenever life feels weird and you feel like things are falling apart or whatever, like it's all gonna, I think that's what John said, it's all gonna come together and be okay. Like every, trip up that you have in your 20s, like you learn something, you gain a skill, something good comes out of it. And I know that whenever we all together get to our 30s, we will thank our 20s for how weird they've been. And then whenever we get to our 40s, I assume we'll thank our 30s for how weird they've been, and so on and so forth. But yeah, so huge shout out to Street Clothes. Y'all be sure to go see their show. It's going to be awesome. Victory North, May 20th, right? 20th? Yes, May 20th. And yeah, so with that, I will take us out. Y'all know the drill. New episodes drop every single Monday bright and early. You can follow the show on Instagram at Chicks and Dip Pod. You can follow me at Lauren_Wolverton. And don't forget to share the show. If you like this episode, please share it. Throw up an Instagram story. Tag us. Text it to your friends. Whatever. Every single share helps me more than you realize. That's how, new people find the show. So please, that's huge. Share the show. And yeah, with that, I hope that y'all have a fabulous week. I will see y'all on Monday.